Aloha and welcome back to the Stick with the Winners class. This is our 7th video and we are providing background information and additional details to go along with our new book that my dad and I just wrote and released called Stick with the Winners: How to Conduct More Effective 12-Step Recovery Meetings Using Conference-Approved Literature. And now I'd like to turn this thing over to my dad, Dick B. So Dad, please go ahead.
We're in the middle of a series of 3 films about the first 3 AAs. And the first film was about how Bill Wilson got sober. The second one we just finished was about how Dr. Bob got sober. And this third one is about how AA number 3, Bill Dotson, got sober. So the series of 3 is how the first 3 AAs got sober and were cured before there were any steps, any traditions, or a big book, by utilizing the Christian principles and practices they'd already learned and believed. This is the third of the series, part 3, how AA number 3, Bill D, got sober. In this film, we will discuss how Bill W. and Dr. Bob began to work together to help other drunks recover from alcoholism. Dr. Bob told a nurse at Akron City Hospital that he and Bill W. had found a cure for alcoholism and needed to help another drunk. The nurse put them in touch with Akron attorney Bill D., a seemingly hopeless, medically incurable drunk. Bill D. heard their stories, soon turned to God for help, and was cured in the hospital of his alcoholism. He became AA number 3, and the founding of AA's first group, Akron number 1, was fixed at July 4th, 1935, the day Bill D. left the hospital a free man. The story of AA number 3, attorney Bill D. of Akron, can be reported very succinctly. Bill D. suffered from a horrible drinking problem. During the first 6 months of 1935, just before Bill and Bob met him, he'd been hospitalized 8 times for intoxication. Dr. Bob had phoned the nurse at Akron City Hospital, asking her if she knew of an alcoholic they could help. Dr. Bob told her that he and Bill had found a cure for alcoholism. She commented that she certainly hoped Dr. Bob had found it too, and he confirmed that he had. She put them in touch with Bill D. Bill W. and Dr. Bob visited Bill D. in the hospital, and they told him their stories. They told him that if he wanted to get well, excuse me, he needed to entrust his life to God's care, and when healed, be sure to help others. This idea of helping others became a consistent requirement for early AAs. Bill D. was a Christian, a deacon in his church, and had taught Sunday school. And when Bill W. and Dr. Bob first approached him, he informed them that they didn't have to sell him on religion because he already believed in God. Simply stated, Bill W. and Dr. Bob left the hospital. Bill D. turned to God and asked for help. When Bill W. and Dr. Bob returned, Bill D. had been cured. Bill D. stepped from the hospital a free man. He resumed his law practice, and he became very much involved in working with others. Bill D. emerged from the hospital on July 4th, 1935, and Bill declared that this July 4th date marked the founding of the first AA group in the world, Akron number 1. Bill D. shares in his personal story on page 191 of the current and latest edition of Alcoholics Anonymous, the big book, the following profoundly important and still largely unknown information about Bill W. and the program. And it says, "It would be hard to estimate how much AA has done for me. I really wanted the program, and I wanted to go along with it. I noticed that the others seemed to have such a release, a happiness, a something that I thought a person ought to have. I was trying to find the answer. I knew there was even more, something I hadn't got. And I remember one day, a week or two after I had come out of the hospital, Bill W. was at my house talking to my wife and me. We were eating lunch, and I was listening and trying to find out why they had this release that they seemed to have. Bill looked across at my wife and said to her, quote, "Henrietta, the Lord has been so wonderful to me, curing me of this terrible disease, that I just want to keep talking about it and telling people." Bill D. then continues his personal story. And he said, I think I have the answer. Bill was very, very grateful that he'd been released from this terrible thing, and he'd given God the credit for having done it. And he's so grateful about it, he wants to tell other people about it. That sentence, quote, "The Lord has been so wonderful to me, curing me of this terrible disease that I just want to keep telling about it," has been a sort of golden text for the AA program and for me.